Y'all may be seated. For those of you that showed up, thank you for coming. We have quite a few seats for other visitors. Maybe they'll be filled before we leave. I see one of our first ministers, Minister Kareem. Glad to see you. I'd like to thank the owners of the school for allowing us to have the building to talk to you all. And Minister Yanni for explaining a few things. This is an arduous task that I'm involved in. I mean, extremely, extremely difficult. Can you all hear me? I'm trying to speak where it don't get no echo. The hardest thing that has ever been done is to change a person's thinking, especially after they've got it set. It's almost virtually impossible. That's why a lot of men and women get married, and before they get married, one thinks they can change the other, because love is speaking to them. When they get to the real task of actually becoming one, it doesn't happen, because they've been so fossilized in what they've been doing that it's almost impossible for them to change. So that's why it's written in Scripture that suffer unto me the little children, for within them is the kingdom of heaven. Because they haven't been polluted. They've been polluted, but it hasn't settled in their thinking. Like those of us that think we know everything. You know, money answers everything. It almost does. But what are you asking? If you're asking for righteousness, money's not going to answer. If you're asking for devilishment, money most certainly will answer. Because we think devilish. And we can understand that because we've been reared or raised or kept stagnant by the devil. That may seem harsh, but it's the truth. Today, there's no more time for vacillating between what's right and wrong and think there is no consequences for it. There most certainly is. The preachers has been preaching it a long time. I raised up a messenger to make sure that he delivered a message to the black man. They didn't send us about the black woman, to the black man. Because we knew, black man, if you were going to go any place, you were going to take your woman with you. If the enemy didn't have her. 40-some years, the messenger taught. 40-some years, he shared the message. And I hope you all listen. I really hope you listen. 40-some years. He rehearsed and recited to us the promise that I would deliver to you upon my coming. And I'm supposed to, or was supposed to, show up after night. Right after night, I was supposed to show up. And I did so. A little before night was over. In the Quran it reads about the Lord of the dawn. That's who you should seek refuge in. It didn't say seek refuge in Allah. And dawn is just before daylight. Now daylight is absolutely visible in time-wise, as far as we're concerned, year 2000. 9 years before then, at least 7, I'll say this. For those that have been looking, were seeing the light approaching from the sun, or this new day. It has gotten so plain now and so clear that I'm up and actually shining everywhere. Are you all following me? Because whatever I do benefits you. What you are doing now is killing you. and making it hard for me. That is, if I'm going to accept you. And I do hope you listen. I do hope you listen. If you want to say, well, I don't particularly agree with that, I can understand it. However, if you search your own behavior and the thought pattern for your behavior, you will come up every time 0. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be here. And we wouldn't be in the shape that we are as a people. As a people. You know, occasionally I come to Cincinnati and I stay overnight or I stay for a week or so. Very few people ever see me because it's not really necessary. It's better that you see what I'm doing than see me. And then I found out that quite a few people have been watching me on the TV here in Cincinnati. I say, well, maybe today I'll find out if that's a good thing or not. A lot of times I turn the TV on, I think it's channel 23 or 24, and I'm looking at the council, the different government agencies, how they're going back and forth at each other. And the black people, our people, be on the white people so hard here about the way you're being treated. And what I see while looking at it on the TV, I'm looking at your enemy, which is mine also. He's like a duck that's all oiled up. And you all that are very young, you may not know what that means. A duck is an animal that has quite a few oil glands. And he keeps himself oiled all over. So when he goes in the water, he never gets wet. Like you and I. So I'm looking at the enemy of truth. The black man is pouring his heart out to him. Sometimes cussing him out. And the man just sitting there just looking. You're like, are you finished? Isn't his time up? You know, like you said nothing, but you almost had a heart attack trying to get your point across. I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing us as a people begging. Literally begging. However, you're begging a man that is by nature, constructed not to give you nothing. He's constructed by nature to take everything. If he gives you $1, he already has it calculated where he gets 5 back. I hope you listen. The few of you that are here, and that may be like Joseph was at his wit's end, trying to find a place to have his baby born. You know, Jesus. Joseph was the one that carried Mary off by instructions of the Supreme Being. Take her and go. Find a place for her to have the child. He was at his wit's end because everywhere he went, he was turned away. So the black man seems to be at his wit's end because you can't find no justice. If you all knew, maybe some of you do know, the little diner that we have on Reading down the street, little diner, if you knew the hell that we had to go through to get that open, most of you say, well, look, forget it. But I got to go through all this, to hell with it. However, I'm not most. I know what has to be done. I know what has to be presented to you to present the proper attraction to life. If I was to do that, I may as well give up on you. Right now I have enough power to open up a little restaurant. And really I'm powerless. However, this city has everything sewed up so tight that even if you're right, they try your patience to see if you have enough will to pursue your right. You may be right. If you don't have the patience, you will lose. However, since I am the man of patience, I awaited them. However, the real weight is to see the fruit of my work. And that is the attraction to the God, black man. I'm expressing a lot of patience. And patience that I'm expressing also brings about a lot of discomfort. A lot of discomfort. Because the way that I operate is 1 plus 1 equals 2. This means the operation or the way that I operate is factual, not on a belief system. If God had to work on a maybe system, he would never come after you. Because the odds would be he would lose. Because the whole world is being ran under the impression of Satan. So he would automatically lose. We don't see our enemy going out into space using a belief system or his opinion. He does not rely on what the Pope says. He's not concerned about Islam. He don't quote Christianity. He uses 1 plus 1 equals. And that's why you're always begging him, because you're not using that. You're using my strong faith, my strong belief, my strong right in relationship to God. And he's going to change everything. And you should know that. So therefore you should surrender and allow us to do thus and so. He look at you and laugh. Because the God that created this universe didn't use that belief. He used math. In our lesson, in the message that the messenger told us and brought to us, he said math is Islam. Not a minister, not a preacher, not a reverend, not an apostle. Math is Islam. And Islam is math. And if you use it correctly, it will reward you. So the math that I'm using is that you cannot get away from your nature. You can't get away from it, black man. You know you got it. You just don't know where you're going to start to show it. Because every time you start, you find out you're in somebody else's house. Every time you start to do something, you got to go downtown. You got to get a lawyer. You got to get some green with white on it. Which none of it is yours. So you can never show yourself as being God. You can only show your will to want to be. And that's as far as you can go. Well, what's different with you, Royall? My difference is nothing of this world attracts me. Nothing of this world is a temptation to me. Nothing. Because I see everything as filth. Anti-man. Even the man that we made to be anti, at this particular time in history, even he's beginning to look foolish. So the only thing that attracts me is positive math in a positive direction. This way things can be developed. So if I do go or have someone sent to the enemy and say, look, we want this piece of property. This is the way we do it. We don't go and say, well, can we have so-and-so? No, we don't do that. We go and say, well, look, we're going to offer you an opportunity. We need so-and-so pieces of land, acres or homes or businesses or whatever, to make sure that it will be beneficial to our people. Now, if you are in accord with this type of thinking and know the need of our people, then you have the opportunity to help make this happen. What you going to say? They usually say, well, because they don't usually hear language like that coming from a black man. Especially if they haven't even seen the originator of it. This is someone that's sent from me. So they say, what? An opportunity. Yes, sir. An opportunity. You do know that things are going to change, regardless to your will or not, don't you? Well, yes, we know that. You do know it is the time, don't you? Well, I don't know if it's exactly the time, but I know it's getting close. Well, then if you know that, this is your opportunity. You know what? Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, the answer is always yes. Always yes. So much so that sometimes we offer the opportunity to get 2 acres, they want to give us 10. That's another ploy also. Sometimes I have to say, no, we just want the 2. Because if we take the 10, we're not strong enough to hold it, you're going to get it back plus what we gave you. So we just take the 2. You know, I hope you all are going along or keeping up with the rhythm of what's being shared with you. It's a different situation when you come and hear somebody talk about somebody else. White folks is this and white folks is that and so forth and whatnot. You know, always taking it off of you and pointing someplace else. I don't do that. Because that's not the problem, God. The problem is you, God. How do I know? Because I'm doing what you should be doing. And by me being one man and being successful, I can imagine what would happen if you all stood up and be God. You got the example. You got the example. And for those of you that feel as though you have the perfect scheme of life, you got the perfect solution. And when God shows up, he will put you out in the forefront and everybody will see. You've been looking at too much Alice in Wonderland. That has never happened, ain't gonna happen. A man suffered 40 years. A man. Not a woman, a man suffered 40 years. In the book, it called him a daily sacrifice. Most people want to think it was Jesus. It wasn't. Jesus didn't even live to be 40 years. You think about it. He didn't even live to be 40 years old. A daily sacrifice for 40 years. Just to give you a message. Hurry up, black man. Get your thinking together. Because after me, God himself will come. And he's going to bring you out of this situation with great substance and great power. But you don't believe it. Because you're so used to being underfoot. You're so used to being given even the opportunity, to go buy a car. You know you can't hardly pay for it. And the people that's loaning you the money, they know it too. They figure they get what you got and get the car back too. You see? 40 years. So if God is actually God, Allah actually Allah, or me actually being the supreme being, why would I allow someone else? Are you going to listen? Why would I allow, or why would it be allowed for someone else to come and do for us what we could have done for ourselves? And the credit goes to somebody else. What I'm saying is, there's been nobody between Elijah and myself that has done more for your liberation than he and I. So now we're going to allow somebody that's studying some other formula or somebody else's mindset. I'm going to make them successful and just forget about Elijah. When the book reads in Malachi that it was Elijah. Behold, before the great and dreadful day, before that day, I will send you Elijah. The man was born named Elijah. And nobody on the planet has done more than this particular man from Georgia that was named Elijah. So he lived it. You can't ignore it and say it wasn't true. So nobody else, I don't care what you study. If you want to be a Mason, the 33rd and 3rd degree, that ain't going to happen. You want to be a Rastafarian and you think that's going to happen through that? That's not going to happen. Because you didn't pay the price. And you're not paying the price. It is I. Not for white folks. For you black men. Not even necessarily for the black woman. Because if I don't get you first, it ain't going to be no black woman. She's already gone. She's already gone. And you're gone chasing after her. This may be very distasteful. However, put yourself in my place, which I'm sure is easy to do, so many of you do it. If you have the formula and you're actually working it, that is when you will see every enemy of truth. That's when you will see them. Because regardless of what you do, if they don't believe that you're going to be successful, they will go into motion to make sure in their thinking that you won't be successful. Just to show you, you're wasting my time. So what I'll do, I'll call the white man and tell him that I saw you doing so and so and so. Just like yesterday. I'm home or at the house, talking with the family, whatnot. And I'm always getting phone calls, sometimes back to back. I get a phone call, say, Father, we just had somebody throw a brick at our bus. And the bus was loaded with children and the members and busted the window out. I said, what? Yes, sir, Father. I said, well, who did it? We don't know yet. So the brothers ran over the hill. And they caught one brother. He said it wasn't him, it was somebody else, and he ran into that house. So naturally, we went in the house. And you probably can guess who it was. If you can't, I'll tell you, it wasn't white. They were not Caucasian. 16-year-old boy. And when the police did come, they had so much respect. I told them to call the police. When the police came, the brothers had already found the brother. They was in the house, called the police from the house, had the rock that he threw, and had him and his parents. Police said, well, if there were no eyewitnesses, said whatever one, couldn't find it. Well, here's the rock. Said we can't do anything with that because you all have handled it. You can't get the prints off it. All right. So we went outside. The brother called me up. Said, well, Father, he thinks he's going to get away. The police said right in front of him, nothing that we can do without a witness. I said, well, this is what you go tell the police. And matter of fact, who are the police? Are they Caucasian or the original? It says 2 originals and 1 Caucasian. The Caucasian is over the other 2. I said, okay, you go tell them that the boy is not going to get away. Now, if they cannot do anything, give us their suggestion as to what should be done. And if they have no suggestions, we'll tell them we will handle the matter. The white policeman, it was my grandson that went and told them that. The white policeman he was talking with treated him as though my grandson was the captain, and he was taking orders from him. He says, well, I know you all take care of your own. So he brought the boy outside. and told him, he called him a few colorful metaphors, and told him to apologize. Boy wouldn't do it. So he told him, well, you're not going to apologize. And don't think you're going to get away. So I won't tell you what else the police said, however it was in our favor. But look who threw the rock. At a loaded bus, school bus. So I have to have patience. I am God. 16 years old, I most certainly wouldn't want to see anything happen to the boy. However, we can't permit this to go on. You know, and I hope you are listening. I really hope you're listening, because I don't have a choice whether I'm going to save you or don't save you. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do if you want to be saved. If not, you're going to burn. I can't stop it. You're going to burn. And especially right here in this state. This is the main state. Right now, I'm just speaking to you out of reasoning, mathematical reasoning. I don't blame you for doing what you have to do as far as trying to survive or trying to make a little comfort in your life. However, that's fine until you see what should be done. Once you see what should be done as a people and you won't do it, then there's no love lost for you, because you're doomed. And believe me, because you don't know what this dreadful day really means, it don't mean it's going to be averted, because you don't know. Elijah, go tell them that I love them. Fly to Allah. And I will put them in heaven overnight. The night happened to be 25 years. It wasn't 12 hours. 25 years. The night was over. Let them know that, Elijah, let them know that I love them, black man. And after you leave, Elijah, the black man that I love, and then he in return loves me, he's going to have a great time. Great, great, great. The one that looks in scorn and disdain, hatefulness, evilness, he's going to receive a dreadful time. He shall not die right away. I hope you listen, because this is God speaking. It would be something different if I was saying I was a representative of God. And don't worry about how I look. Don't worry about that. I'll take care of that, since I am God. Well, I look this way now because I represent you. You know, much like the camel. You don't know what a camel look like? You know why we made him look that way? Don't know, do you? A camel is one of the most upright beasts that you can see. He holds his head upright, almost like looking down his nose at you. They got a saying that reads, the straw that broke the camel's back. They don't talk about nobody else like that. I mean, no other animal. Why the camel? Because before you were allowed to be brought over here, we knew where you were coming. That's why we told Abraham, your seed, Mr. Abraham, is going to be in a strange land. And it's going to be afflicted. Well, after afflicting you, guess what you would look like? And the people that brought you here from your mother country, because of them doing that, and I hope you listen, because of them doing that, in the motherland, you started to make yourself very unattractive. Putting disc in your lips, in your earlobes, scarring your face all up, to make them not want you. You didn't look that way before slavery started. You didn't look that way. So to make sure, black man, that you would understand that the man that's talking to you has a bit more knowledge than you, we made a camel that stands for righteousness. That's his uprightness. And a burden is always put on him that he's not designed to carry. That's why they say they put so much on him, and they put one more straw and break his back. He's not designed to carry. However, he has such a strong will, he carries it anyhow. That's what the black man has been receiving under this man here in this country. A burden that you can hardly carry. And he's made us very ugly. So we made the camel with the big lips, humping his back, represent you. And make him where he can go a long time without water. 400 years, black man, without the knowledge of your God. Long time. So if you don't wake up and do what you should do, you're going to bear witness before you perish. There is a limit to everything, especially patience. Patience is only good for its duration of time. When it runs its course, if you still extend patience, then it turns to weakness. Then the person or situation that you have been expressing patience with or on, they will start to come against you and overtake you. Are you listening? You know, most of the time I don't go to different parks, recreational centers, because like I said, nothing really attracts me or interests me of what this man has developed. However, I think it was yesterday, my wife wanted to take the children down to Mammoth Cave. And I said, well, I've been thinking maybe I need to go take some walks and do something like that to get a little exercise, get a little fat, you know. So I drove them down to Mammoth Cave down in Kentucky. And the man that was describing what we were about to experience, he was very graphic as to how we had to do, what we had to go through, how much endurance we had to have to complete the journey. And if you could not make it, it was going to be a terrible thing because you'd be by yourself. And in the cave, if you couldn't keep up, you fell behind. There was two of them, one leading, one behind us. The man that's coming behind kept turning the lights off. Completely dark in the cave, completely dark. 4 miles. And after we got in and started walking, we found a man that did not lie. It was Ocarus. However, I think we stopped about 4 times. You know, scheduled stops. And in one of the stops, after we had just climbed, almost looked like a 90-degree angle. And everybody was out of wind. They already had the seats and the chairs already lined up, concrete. Now we're in a cave. We're 200 and some feet under the ground. He starts telling us how they made the path and who did it. And the things that they had to do, we could really understand it from just a trail. How they had to construct that, how they had to put the railings up. Young men, 16, 18, 20, 22 years old. During the Depression. You all know what a depression is? Which I doubt. You do? Are you sure? Well, if not, you're about to come into one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you are unable to read the signs by now, you're in a bad fix. I'm not pleased with nothing that's happening on this planet except those that are working with me. I'm not pleased. I'm not crazy, but I'm not pleased. You know what I mean? Because I'm not pleased, I'm going to just run out and just destroy everything. No. We do it step by step. Destroy this, destroy that, destroy that, destroy the other. You know, step by step. That the Quran reads is done so mathematically and so gradually that most people don't perceive it. They don't know what's happening until it gets beyond their ability to ignore it. Then they say, oh my God, this is biblical. This is divine. Oh, where is God? Too late then. If you got to ask where he is and this is going on, it's too late. Because you've been here all the time, telling you what's going to happen. Then he comes and says, well, I'm God. I'm here to do everything I said. We're going to start off here in Cincinnati, with just a little diner. Just a little diner. I'll let my wife and the other one decorate it. See how you like it. We won't rob you in the price. See how you like it. We have hours where it's civilized. You can come in and have a good meal, good music, good atmosphere, just to see how you like it. And nobody is working in that's going to get a dime. Just so we can see if you like it. However, the restaurants that you would put up, you have to pay somebody. They don't give a damn about you. They steal from you. So after you have it up, for a little while, you're going to be closing it. And if you're not closing it, you're killing the people. Feeding them pig feet, baby ribs, ham sandwiches. They can't think. Soul food. Yes, it means killing the soul. However, you all see the transportation come in. You see the ones that's actually operating the diner. That could not be done from stupidity. I don't think from the few times that I've seen them in the diner, I haven't seen them wearing a disappointed posture, a set-up disposition, an unwelcome aura. Every time I've seen them, they've been moving up. They seem like, well, man, we like this. They first went to school under my teaching. He would say, look, you want to do that? You open up a diner, go ahead. And in running it, you will see everything that I taught you is right. Because when you start doing that, you got to pay the taxes. That means you got to keep the books right. And to keep the books right, you got to deal with the numbers. And to make sure that I know who really wants to do it, don't pay them. So if they leave in 2 weeks, they don't want to do it. If they stay, then I got some other things for them. Depending upon how they develop, I got a big plantation and plantations in Africa that's been given to us already, having already the deeds. Just from hearing what we're doing. Hearing 2 or 3 came and looked and bore witness. But the poor black man here, you look at it, and what the minister has done, and Warwick Dean, everybody except Elijah, has made Islam look like, well, it ain't nothing. It never will be nothing. It's just something just to cause accusation. You never see the math. You're not even interested in looking. And you say, well, how do you know that, Royall? Well, because I'm God. Secondly, look behind you. Got quite a few black people here. I think we're in the black neighborhood, aren't we? This man in the cave was telling us these teenagers, in order to make the path, they had to take, there was no sand there. So they had to take rocks and bust it up. They had black and white. They had candles and lanterns. And they had to bust it up and then carry it over the jagged edges and fill it in. And you should say, if you all know, how many has been to the cave? Nobody? Well, if you think you're in good shape, go. If you're not, you can go, but don't take the tour. Just the way the terrain was, and for them to do that, they were really sacrificing. And guess how much they got per month? The pay was $30 a month, and they came home with $26. Taxes. A month. And most of it, they said, was sent back to their parents because of the depression. And they stayed there and did that. They sacrificed. I wonder what we have done. And what are you willing to do? Since I've been on TV here, and we do have a restaurant that does really stand out. It stands out. We have white people come in and tell us, one man came in and said, well, he had no idea that a restaurant of that magnitude was in this neighborhood. And the people that was putting in the air conditioning were not Caucasian. They try to hold us up forever. They told us, came right out and said, look, what you all are putting here is too good for this neighborhood. You're wasting your time and money. That's what white folks think of it. Aren't you glad I didn't think they would? So no, we can do it anyhow. He don't know what he's talking about. I'm after the God. I'm not after money. But then we have us throwing bricks at the bus with people on it. We must have lost our reputation. We must have. Like Minister Giannis was talking about. You young people have been severed from life. You've been severed, suspended in space. No foundation. We haven't changed our logo or promise that we fight with those who fight with us. And if you get right there and want to get dirty, we will kill you. Outright take you out. But you got to be the aggressor. But I didn't come here to kill you, black man. You're doing a good job of that yourself. I came here to make sure that you live and be God. Is that what you want? Well, I don't know when I'll be back through here. However, I do know whether I'm here or not. If you're going to be on the book of life, you're going to have to be with me. If you want to say, well, I don't want to be with him, be with the United Nations of Islam. I don't have to see you. You don't have to see me if you don't want to. But you're really going to have to do right or learn the method of how right is done and do it. If you don't, what can I say? What could I possibly say? I'm not a liar. We wouldn't put it in the books what's going to happen. The day is going to be so dreadful, sister, when your husband, boyfriend pregnant you and you become pregnant. It's going to be so dreadful that you drop your baby. You're going to be so hungry that you look at the baby and want to eat it. Maybe, one of the prophets said that the anger of Allah was expressed on the planet, that it made the planet reel and rock like a drunk man. What can I say? So this is what I'll say. Whatever you have in your mind that you want clarity on, here I am asking. I'm not relying on you, black man, for my survival. I am relying on my own intelligence and my own know-how to make sure that I keep the promise that I made to the original Allah, to get a few of good minds. And I hope you understand. If you don't, ask the question. I'm not going to hurt you today. So if you all have any questions, I think we have got a handsome brother there holding the mic. If the card is long enough, he'll meet you where you are. So do you have any questions? Because I have a lot of answers. If you don't have no questions, maybe I'll ask some for you. Just to let you know you do have questions. And don't let Satan convince you that you're not good enough to ask or that your question is too dumb. Forget him. He forgot me, so you forget him. So it's not to hold you too long today if you have any questions, because once we get into it, you're going to be surprised how this is going to go. All right? I'll say this. Come on up, brother. I'll say this. Black man, black man, black man. Don't be distracted. This is your day. Out of the 196,940,000 square miles of this planet, guess where God is standing? So something else is going to attract you? If you're thinking, I think not. So you may say, well, this has been told to me so many times. Well, you're not my God. Hey, well, that could be very well. For those of you that's not sure, try it. Well, if you were God, you would come down and be lightning flashing around your head. You'd be extremely handsome. You just make things happen, maybe levitate a little bit, give us a little show, demonstrate that you really are. When did God ever do that? If you can prove to me when he did that, I'll do it now. I can. However, I'm not an entertainer, because that's all it would be. You would not have learned nothing from that. Okay? I want you to be interested in learning how to do something for yourself. When I say yourself, I don't mean just you, the person. Yourself is every black man that is breathing, especially here in North America. That's yourself. Like when somebody gets shot here by the police, all y'all break wild. Then you can relate then. That's us who got shot. When you say, well, do for self, then the us is gone, just you. Don't work that way. All right, well, I'm open the floor up for some questions. And I do hope you challenge me in the right manner. I will accept any challenge you bring as long as it is respectful. If you're going to come up and tell me what I am and what I'm not, that's not challenging me the right way. That's insulting me. And it's a shame that I even have to say that. All right, brother, if you have a question, I'm more than glad to accept it.
Well, I guess my question more has to do with the framework. I'm wondering, what did you see in this, or what did the organization see in this area? I mean, when you live here, maybe you're so busy just living day to day, you don't see things going on, or you don't notice them as much. But I was just wondering, what
does he do?
I mean, what do you see, or what does the organization see? What made you want to come here? I mean, there are other areas in the country you could have went, but what was here that you saw? You saw something.
Well, this is how it goes. And I hope you listen. Because most times, I always answer the question, but most times people say, well, he didn't answer it. When you study, you say, he did answer it. It's written that hell prepares you for heaven. Not Allah prepared you. Hell prepared you for heaven. Well, from the east to the west, or from the east to the center of this country, this is the halfway point. And plus, we have some very powerful black men here and women, because this place is concentrated sin. So if it's concentrated, it means the student has learned well. You may not know you've learned until the right opportunity has been placed before you. Then you see it and you accept it. Then you see how well you operated. But what made you be that way is because of this forever constant pressure on you. You listen? That's why here, most of the ones that you see from us are young. They're not parents yet. They're still children. However, they don't think like the ordinary children. They think mathematically. So that's why it's a halfway point where we can stop. We can get our breath back, settle down, get up the next morning, take on off and go to heaven, which is in Kansas City, Kansas. Kansas City, Kansas is where we're building or developing this righteous kingdom, where everything is being done, from the drinking water to the toilet tissue. If it ain't being done yet, it's well on the way. Here is a good stopover to meet some good people, get some good water, get some good food, get some good rest, leave a good impression, and leave. So this is why here in Cincinnati, you got some good black men here. They don't know it because they haven't got in touch with me. You know, you all are like weightlifters. You've been lifting weight all along, involuntarily. So the real weightlifter, when he comes along, he looks like a little chump. Because he's been measuring his weight. You couldn't measure it. You just had to stand up under it. You understand what's being said? So that's why. If that answers the question.
Probably have about 3 more questions, but I'm not going to hog the. I'm sure there's other people that have questions.
Well, if it isn't, I don't see nobody behind you. Somebody else got one?
I want to know what are your views, or how do you feel about the boycott here in Cincinnati?
Well, all those type things. And I would like to correct something that you said before. We are not. I repeat, we are not an organization. We're the United Nations. Get that in your mind. As long as you refer to us in your mind as nation or as group, organization, that has boundaries. It has limitations attached to it. So you automatically attach that to us. And you find out that it's incorrect. You got that? Now, what was your question?
I was just wanting to know whether you had any views about the current situation with the boycott here in Cincinnati.
Well, men usually do what they have a knowledge to do. You know, when you don't know much, you don't do much. The more you know, the better you do. When you're not with me, you try everything. Marching, boycott. You know, that's another way of telling the white man, I know you the boss. I'm going to show you that, it's almost like you married and your wife is angry with you and she said, well, look, I'm going to sleep on the couch so you go sleep on it. They're trying to make a statement to you. I don't like what you did. But they don't have no power. So it's the same thing. Boycott. You tell the man, I don't have no power. So what I'll do, I'll just boycott you. You say, okay. You boycott. You'll be back next week. And since none of you are together, half of you will do it no how. So I just smile and walk on off. So that's what I say. In other words, if I thought about anything that you all do as being in the terms of being effective, I would adopt or employ some of the same tactics. However, that's what I said. Nothing that is being done attracts me. Boycott? Look at the word boy. Why not man-cott? In other words, I know what you want, and the only way you're going to achieve it is that you do it right. You're not gonna skate on this. You're not gonna cheat it. You're not gonna slip through a crack. It's gonna be done right, or it's not gonna be done at all. It's as simple as that. Whether you see me or not, the plan has already been laid out and it's been stamped like a die. Bam! It can't read anything other than right. It can't, it's a die. When the messenger passed, just before he passed, he had to put it on the Muhammad's feet. The title was "The Die Has Been Set." You see? So this is the same thing now. It don't make no difference what the preacher say. He can't say nothing that has more meaning than what I say. Because the preacher says and does nothing. I say, first I was doing this or saying. I'm doing more than what I'm saying. I think the last time I was here in Cincinnati, it must have been 3 or 4 years ago. A few people came out. At that time, everybody was all tied up with the ministers, so they was on me about the ministers. So I had to get that straightened out. They still thought I was lying. Now they see I wasn't. So, if that answers the question. Got another? Oh, all right. Oh, Lincoln. But it's not.
Yes, sir.
First of all, Royal, I love you so much. I must say this. I must say this. I must say this. I thank you, Father. I thank you so much, for I was truly on the brink of death. And the message you taught us, the messenger was on the brink of death 9 times. And you brought Elijah Muhammad back each time. And I said in my heart that if the messenger can be on the brink of death 9 times, I'm going to go through with this as one. And I'm so thankful and grateful for truly you brought me back to life. And words can't describe the love that I have obtained in my heart for you and the love that continues to increasingly grow to you. I just had to say this. I thank you so much, y'all. You're welcome. Yeah, this is the brother. Are y'all listening? You know, in 1997, I brought Elijah back. 1997. We wrote and told the minister and everything before I actually did it. Gave him a formal invitation. Used our official stamp, put it on the letter. For him to attend or allow the meeting to take place in Mark Maryland, or what he called it. We still call it Temple number 2. And when we got to the Regal Theater, place that we had rented to make the presentation, the brother that was just at the mic was back behind the scenes. I never saw him before. However, he reminded me of the lost found, or when we first came here, the love that the brother would have in his heart for God, but didn't know God. So since I was bringing the messenger back, when he saw me, he started reciting the prayer. I said, okay, what you do, you go out first. And he recites the prayer, the original prayer. For sure, Allah, I turn myself to be trying to be upright, and he who originated the heavens and the earth. Trying it. I said, you say that. Then I had the minister come along and say the new one. At the time, if you get the video, you see it with him. He had a big bush. Matter of fact, some of the ministers asked me, oh, why, on an occasion like this, Father, why you, don't worry about it. He's doing a good job. And now he says he loves it. I don't know why. You got another question? Yes, sir. Oh, sir.
Well, as far as me, when I was coming up, I believe there's truly a God that's up in heaven. So I'm asking you, what makes you think there's not a God up in heaven? Everybody is born as a child. They came up in church or what may have you, that they believe that there's a God in heaven. I ain't trying to, trying to be funny or anything, but that's how I came up. So I'm just asking you, everybody else, had to come up as a child that believed in God. That was God in heaven.
Well, this is clear evidence of the workings of your enemy. God is up in heaven. Now, you're on a round body of matter called Earth. Or this round head on the microphone. In a circle, or from a circle, which way is up? If God say, in the last day, I will come, and I will settle all disputes and confusion concerning me. The last day, not before the last day. So the man that has been teaching about me has been the enemy of me. So he has taught and still teaching God is up in heaven. Well, where is up? Ain't no such thing as up from a circle. The best you can do is go out. That's why they say the white man's going out in space. You don't say up in space. He's going out in space. So it's a trick. And because he knows the nature of you, like I know your nature, you're grabbing for a straw while you're drowning. You see a straw float by, you grab for it. But it don't say it. So you are drowned in his abyss of lies about me. So heaven is being developed now over a couple of states called Kansas by you. The heaven is a condition, not a place. I decided to make it a place so it will attract you and be a guide for those that want to be in heaven or receive the rewards of what heaven will produce. Heaven means having. That means you don't have nothing but your nature. You don't have nothing. That's why you begging white folks. Beg. You don't see them begging. They go to Afghanistan and say, oh, you tore our building down? Oh, please. You messed up now. I'm going to bomb you to oblivion. The whole world couldn't stop them because they got the planes, they got the bombs, they have. You got it? They have. You have not. However, the promise was made to you like it was made to them. In the beginning, they had nothing. And what they did have, we took it back. We took everything from them except the language. And they lost. We didn't take it, they lost it. However, because we promised them we're going to give you 6 days to rule, 6,000 years, we went and got them and kept our promise. However, the greatest promise was promised to you, seed of Abraham. There wasn't no promise that you don't find no place in the Bible where you was promised to take you to heaven. Best that I recall, the God or the people were back looking and saying, look, we've seen the 144,000 going to heaven with their Lord. With their Lord. Not going to meet their Lord, going with their Lord. So we could see them. And they wasn't going up. You see? So you've been tricked. I mean, thoroughly tricked. So now, what should be the greater importance of the promise? To make sure the man keeps his 6,000 years, you keep the promise to that, or make sure that we bring you, black man, back into the position of being God, the ruler of the planet. Matter of fact, the ruler of the universe and the queen of the planet. So it appears to me the greater promise would be you, because after that is accomplished, you don't need me no more. Because you're going to be God, the real God. And wherever you go is heaven, because you are heaven. And remember what it reads, for within them, the little children, is the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of righteousness. So it didn't say go up to heaven, it's inside the child. And what is in the Lord's Prayer? That we have heaven on earth. What can I say? You have another question?
Assalamualaikum, Father. Father, I ask you a question about it being on my mind and heart. I know that going through the scripture, they were talking about that Mount Trinidad, Buddha, and Buddha was a friend of Abraham's father. If they were a friend of Abraham's father, would this be the same thing when Abraham went inside the house and started breaking the house up, telling them they couldn't hurt him? And then he found out who God was. Would this be how he found out that who he was? How he was searching, seeking, he know that they were not believing in God?
Well, yes, sir. Because of his will to actually find out exactly what was taking place, we revealed ourselves to him. And it was in such a contrast as to what his fathers were doing. Try this, black man. And I mean for real. Woman 2. Analyze what's being said for me as it's being said. And you can do it. Because I'm not speaking to your thinking. I'm speaking to your nature. And you will witness the power instantly in truth. So much so, when Abraham witnessed it, it gave him the power or the encouragement to go before the fathers and let them know you are in error. Are you listening? You're in error. What you're worshiping is not the God. That sun, moon, and stars that you, that's not God. They got into a little tussle. If you analyze what's being said as I'm saying, you will feel the power. Because I'm speaking mathematically to you. I'm not speaking to what you lack, what you don't lack. I'm not speaking to you if you're male or female. I'm speaking to your nature. And the word nature means not yours. So when I call you, you got the answer. And when Satan calls his man, he got the answer. That's what nature means, not yours. And you may say today, I don't believe that. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Listen.
Brother, I knew you was a lot. You knew God.
Lord.
And yes, sir, I know that you was a new God. Doing a job for them using a lot. And Father, if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't be here today. And I want to thank you.
You're welcome. Well, let me say this. And those of you, first time seeing, you got some questions, come here. If you got 100 questions, I mean, if everybody got to get up and leave, and we got to pay overtime and now. Oh, hold on a minute. Don't I know him? Yes, sir, young man.
Yes, sir.
You got a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How come you came from the sun and we came from the sun? We got all positive and we got negative and positive.
How is that?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all hear what he asked? Everything, he's pretty smart in this. Everything is done from one. Everything comes from one. So as not to have any confusion and have two gods at the same time equally powered, we made it so it just be one. This way the one would take the many into the oneness. So all of the many would be as one. If it came that way already from the sun, then it would be a mass confusion or it would only be destruction. That's all. Because everything would be wrong, which it is wrong now. And it wouldn't be no toleration of the wrongness. It'd be like your mother telling you, didn't I tell you to move your shoes? You said, but mom, no, but nothing, move them now. If you hesitate, you may get a whack. So it's the same thing with someone, if all you all came from the sun and remained all positive, when you got here, what you would have found is a gross, perpetual insult. And the first thing that would come to your mind is to use your power to make it right or clean it up, destroy it or get rid of it. And that's what you would have done. However, the plan wasn't to be that way because when you leave from the sun as an entity, you are all positive. When you take on the material that the man and woman has produced as an infant, in the material of the infant is the negative. So when you come in, negative is already there. It's just that you have power over it. And then when you want to express it, that's why you curse your mother out sometime and you'll cry. You don't cry intelligent, and make your mother come and say, oh, what is it? And she reads your cry, give you what you're crying for. No. You tell her in no uncertain terms. Sometimes hey, that baby's getting on my last nerve. That's why, son. Dad comes first. And then you show the world the mercy that he has allows the world to accept being all positive, and then he'll make it happen. This way, we don't have to destroy everything just upon our coming. Because the wrong that we see, it is us that gave permission for it to happen. Are you understanding this? You are?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the answer. That it? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mother Father.
What is it on?
I'm Sister Patricia, and I'm with you. And I was one of the sisters that was like, why can't we just all get along? But all praise to the Father. The understanding, the little understanding that I had over all the years that I've been in the nation, being brought up by my father, who I'm truly thankful for, that he saw the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad way back when. And I'm thankful for him helping to bring me onto this planet. But today I stand here on my own 2 feet, thanking you, Father, for bringing me to you. And I appreciate you accepting me. And I'm truly striving to be everything that you would want me to be as far as being a Black woman. And I just wanted, I had invited people here today that I've been dealing with over the years. But their understanding is like with the Israelites and stuff like that, being Hebrew Israelites and dealing with Haile Selassie. So if you don't mind, Father, I would like for you to express, in your thinking, his position or his non-position in our life and our sojourn in America coming from Africa. And again, I just want to thank you, and I love you, and I am with you and my family. I brought my family with me, 8 children. So, I'm really I'm just happy to be here and to see you, Father. And, I just love you, and it's just so positive in my life now. Because my father, he's with Warden Muhammad, and I used to tell him a long time ago, until I see my people come together that's supposed to be together, and something good, something phenomenal happens for Black people, I just can't listen to anybody. And he threw a picture of me he had on the floor, like, well, I denounce you. And I was like, well, whatever, you just have to denounce me, Dad. But you taught me the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, I'm going to go with it until the end because I believe what I've just read and taught by the messenger. And I had to stand up for it. And it took me through much journeys, being with Lewis, and just going through that madness. And I can honestly say that in 1996, that was when I had enough. And I left. I stopped going to the meetings and everything. I was in Alabama. And being a sister captain with him at the time, you're trying to teach people what the messenger taught us. Because that's all we knew at the time. And not only just being out of time, I've learned that not only just being out of time, but these people were crazy. It wasn't even about anything righteous anymore in the Nation of Islam. And I've lived it. I almost was crazy, Father. If it wasn't for me hearing your name and someone saying, well, Solomon, I'm like, who is that? What? And coming back home to Cincinnati, I think I'd be crazy or in Salem somewhere. So, again, thank you, Father, for just coming on time as usual.
Yes, ma'am.
So could you please speak on that, Father?
Yes, ma'am, I will.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. And just so everyone will know, when you see people come up and say, I thank you, Father, I love you so much, and they express themselves and whatnot, I accept what they're saying, not in a way that it makes me great. It's like saying, it's like numbers. If you compile them right, they will give you what you're looking for. So when I hear that, it's like letting me know, well, I'm doing the right thing. I know it anyhow. I'm doing the right thing, and it is appreciated. Not that it makes me have a much bigger head or I'm the big eye. That's foolish. I just thought I'd say that. Now, I'll say this again, which I've already said. In the absence of knowledge, men will do what is available to them or what they can think of and try to make it a reality. We must remember there are 13 tribes. What I'm here gathering is the 13th tribe. Hope you listen. I'm here gathering the 13th tribe, and that's the God tribe. And the duty of the God tribe is to give vision, purpose, aim to the other 12 tribes. In the absence of the 13th tribe, others from other tribes have tried many things. Some looked like it was very impressive. Very impressive. Looks like it may be there. It looked that way in the absence of the absolute. Whether it's Haley, was it Selassie, or whoever. There is nothing that you have or can bring that supersedes this. I can understand you holding off and waiting if this does not appeal to you because you're unable to relate to it. Well, then the best that I can say to you is, I will reach a plateau or a level where you will find your worth, where you can participate in. If you're from tribe number 1, you're not going to relate readily after all this absence of tribe 13. You're not going to relate to it instantly. You're going to stick to what you have that you thought brought you through. But we're not through yet. So I'm not going to go after you. I'm just going to be me. And when you decide to see what you've been doing is in error, you've been doing that because you was in the dark. Now the light is here. And I'm not a Hebrew. The light is here. So whatever you think you are, you cannot justify it unless you justify it from the light. Not from your thinking or belief or your wishes or your hopes. It don't count. Don't count. Because you've been living in wrong so long, how are you going to determine what is right? Especially when it comes to God Himself. It's impossible. That's why only God could straighten out the things about God. He has to do it. No son, Jesus Christ, couldn't do it. Joshua couldn't do it. Nobody that you read about or that you heard about, Buddha couldn't do it. God Himself got to come and do it. So I'm here doing it. So if you're anything else other than being with me, at this particular time, you're in error. And if you remain to be in error, then you will grow and develop into a mistake. You know what I'm talking about? Well, as long as you're in error, you can change it. You can change it. If you develop into a mistake, you can't change it. Somebody has to change it for you. If that answers your question. I'm certainly happy that so many in your family was interested in coming out and listening. I just hope that what you hear really appeals to your nature. So you'll take the next step. We don't have, and I'm telling you from knowing, we don't have a long time for this to grow. What I'm doing now, and I hope you listen, what I'm doing right now as we're speaking, I'm dealing with the mother country where all of the physical riches are. And they have allowed us to have quite a bit of it. And we are in the process of utilizing it. So the wealth I'm about to bring forth to keep the promise what I told the 144,000, the number one thing you'll get, number one, money. I'm going to give it to you. But you've got to be a part of the 144,000. Good home. Good home.
and friendships in all walks of life, all over the planet. That's being produced as I speak. Because waiting for you to realize what's happening and contribute towards your own salvation, your own safety, you're not going to do it. Because you've been cut off from life. You don't know what life is. You think it's BET. And how many booties is shaking? That's life. I beg your pardon. That's a death trap. I'm a man that's dealing with a man. I'm God that's dealing with God. And the ones in Africa, our Father, so to say, is giving us so much. We don't have the manpower to really receive it. They're asking us to come over and teach them. The person that decorated the stage and whatnot, they've been begging for her to come over. She now has her passport. Not time for her to go just yet. But she will be going. We had one of the elders there. He came up to the national secretary and said, listen, I've heard about your children. We cannot wait for you to bring them here. We want to teach them how to survive under the water as long as they like the fish. You don't have to come up and get air. And you don't have to have no oxygen tank. We want to teach your children because we know you're sent from God. That's what they say. He didn't tell them God sent him. He just came over and said, I'm the national secretary for the United Nation of Islam. And when they saw him and they spoke with him, they said, God sent you. He never said it yet. He never did come out and say, well, I'm here representing God. And even after they said it, he just smiled and laughed. He never said, that's right. Because it looks like every time God presents himself as himself, that's a big turnoff. I was with you until then. I'm not going for that. God is up in heaven. Imagine you being God. I mean, you really God. And I come and tell you that. I mean, like, will the real God stand up? Now, you take your God and let him stand up. Well, he's in heaven. Where is that? Well, up there somewhere. Well, where is that? Is it on the west side of the universe? East? North? I mean, where is it? And how can you prove that? If it can't be proven, you're speaking your wishes. Or you're speaking the mindset of another man, which is your enemy, to make you believe so strongly in something that you cannot prove. And that's not the way God works. God always works in a way where he proves. He proves. If it can't be proven, it ain't God. So you got it? So all of you all that, where we at now? Brothers there, the parking lot be filled up. And they go over to the house. They have studies. I think we invited them here. And they're having a meeting at the same time we're having it. But that don't bother me because time is marching on. And by me being here, the very presence of me, every day another idea is put in the atmosphere. So what you thought today will be just that tomorrow, a thought. Until you actually see you're thinking in accord with the Supreme Being. And you can tell when that happens. Everything starts to go right for you. Everything starts to go smooth. If you run up on a glitch, you pause for a moment, do the right thing, and you'll see you go around and the glitch is gone. What more could I tell you, black man? And I don't want you to say, well, look, he wants somebody to worship me. I don't want nobody to worship. If you're going to worship, I want it done in a way where you go to work for yourself in the nation. I don't want to have just a little restaurant here. I want to have everything that you are spoiled with, except the filth. We want recreation centers? Yes. The black man runs this. It can be turned around to make it blissful. I want it to be where if you want to leave Cincinnati and you want to go to Louisville, we got a place down in Louisville. When you get there, if you want to go to the white establishment, go. However, if you want to go to your own, there is somewhere you can go. That's righteous. Today, that don't exist. Unless you come to where we are. You come to Maryland, we have some places there. If you want to farm, you can farm. If you want to work in the mill, you can work in the mill. You go to Cincinnati, here. From here you go to Kansas. From Kansas you go to Atlanta. From there you go to Tallahassee, Jacksonville, New Orleans. We're in all those places. And we're going to develop. And the next thing that I'm going to do is start getting hotels along the road. So when you travel, because it's going to get so bad, you ain't going to be no flying. You're going to forget that. If you don't think I'm God, just remember that one thing. You're going to stop flying. Unless you call and say, Father, I got to fly. I got to go overseas. And I got to be there by 2-3 days. And I'll tell you what plane to get on. If it looks like it ain't good for no plane, tell me who you're going to see. And I'll make it where you're going to ship, and they'll wait for you. That's God. If I couldn't think it, I couldn't do it. You see? Yes, sir. What do we have? Wait, who do we have? Oh, would you wait? Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father. Yes, sir, Father. In your talk, you mentioned the messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, preaching for over 40 years, himself being a daily sacrifice. And you also mentioned that the dire straits that were going to come, where women would look at their own children, want to eat their own children. In the scriptures, in Lamentations, the prophet Jeremiah, who also preached for 40 years to his people, he witnessed this, the house of Israel when they fell, and how the women did eat their own children. And this happened in front of their open enemy. My question is, when these conditions happen today on a larger scale, will this happen to the black nation, and will our open enemy witness this happening to us first, and will it happen to him also?
Well, it's going to be happening to both of them. He's going to actually witness the black man doing this because he's one of the causes of it. The little food and things that he has, he's going to keep it just for him. When you bust down to the store and think he's going to have to give it to you because it's a public. Just that name alone. I don't need no other name to go with it. That name does not require a partner. If I say, well, I'm going to give you a royal whipping. By using royal, you know what kind you get. So I'm not giving it, I am it. Royal. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Most people are talking about Allah, this and Allah, that, and Allah. That's why I'm here. Oh, please, brother. You know, that's pitiful. It is? Well, why don't you investigate me? Check me out. Like Wallace people did. When I first stood up, I was on the radio speaking, and somebody had just died. And I said, well, it's in the Quran, or it should be. Death is called the evil accident of time. Brother called in, well, we can't find that no place in the Quran. I said, well, I read it in there. Maybe I had the wrong Quran. Even if it's not in there, tell me where it's wrong. Death is the evil accident of time. Now, you prove to me it's not. You tell me somebody that's looking to die in a hurry. I'm in a hurry to die, so I'm living fast. No, you go to the hospital, doc, could you do anything for me? And it's evil because most of us has been fed the wrong food, and it's killing us. The food here, thinking that you can come in my face and tell me what I am and what I am not, in a disdainful way. It'd be something different. You come up and say, Brother Royall? Yes, sir. I just can't believe that. No disrespect to you, however, I have to see some more things. And if you are, would you give me the power to see it? Because right now, I'm unable to see that. What can I do with that? I either have to say, well, okay, I'll help you, or say, I understand. But if you're going to come up and act like you God and going to give me all these threats and ultimatums and whatnot, what you will and what I better not do this to the minute, please. I'm saying all this, brothers, so you know who's standing up. And they want to know, Royall, how come you haven't went down and sat down President Bush? Who said, how you setting him down? Or you want me to just go get him and set him down like that? If I do, you're going to get me back up. Why not set him down the way he has set you down? But you don't think that way because you ain't God yet. Well, I got it off my chest. We can ready to go now? Oh, we got a sister too. We'll go. We do these. What is three? We'll do these three, and that's it. Just two. All right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let her sit down. Let her sit down if you want to. Let her sit.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Well, let me sit down.
And first one, I got two questions, but I want to thank you first.
Yes, ma'am.
Last year and the year before last year I was in the hospital every month until April. And when I was going to the hospital, when I first started, I asked you to bless me to meet doctors that you could help me. And what you did. And I want to thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And the first time you was here, I told you about the stroke I had and how you brought me through that. And you shared with me if I lose weight that I could make it. And I am trying to lose weight. So I weigh 200 and some pounds now. And now I weigh 180 pounds. And I want to thank you for sharing that with me. And Father, what I want to ask you, why, when you meet some people, you don't like them? There's no reason how you don't like them, but you don't.
Yes, ma'am. That's the reason. Oh, yes, ma'am. You know, that's why I don't go very few places I go, except for the places that I'm developing myself. Because there's always somebody there with an aura that's negative. They haven't said anything, but they've said a lot. If you plan to do any type of conversing with them, you already see the wall that you got to break through. Now you got to determine whether you want to bring up that kind of energy to do it. Because they're rubbing you the wrong way. So yes, ma'am, people don't always just have to say something or do something. Just their very presence.
And
especially if you're a reader. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
And another question I want to ask is about a dream. It's real short. I can make it short. I was dreaming, and I was being pushed towards, I was being glided towards a hill, a little hill. And on the hill was a green grass, a green stalk, very green. And a voice told me to keep holding on. That's all it said, and I woke up.
Yes, ma'am, that's very good. Do exactly what it instructed you to do. Hold on. Now, how you hold on is the key. You keep me in mind in what we're doing. You keep thinking positive. And don't let Satan make you feel or think that there is no way out. Hold on. And if you're being instructed to hold on, it means that it's not much longer now. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir? Walaikum salam.
I have one question, and this regarding to the theology of time, and in the theology of time, it shared that when you came in the person of Master Muhammad, that you knew how to speak the language of birds. Now, Elijah Muhammad shared he wondered if you was a teacher him how to speak the language of birds. I wanted to know, did he ever learn how to speak that the language of birds?
Did I have to learn how to speak it?
Did Elijah Muhammad know how? Yes, sir.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. It wasn't necessary. He wasn't going to be here that long. He wanted to speak to you or your parents. Speaking the language of the creatures is an easy thing to do once you become your real self. Because each animal, and I hope you listen, each animal or fowl, meaning bird, insect, is a part of us or apart from our mind. And when you're fully yourself, you can deal with yourself. You automatically have an understanding as what's being related to you. You can speak to the dogs, the horses, the mules, birds, ants. You remember Solomon heard an ant say, to tell another ant, watch it. You're getting ready to be crushed by the foot of Solomon. And he heard it. Looked down and he moved his foot and didn't crush him. Well, I was styled as Solomon. However, I'm the real Allah. I make Solomon look like small time. I do. You know, I'm saying that now because I'm not going as something. I'm just being myself, Royal, at this level. And that's what Royal does. Be yourself. In doing that, I'm making a way for you. So I would say to all of you all that are here, and those that are not, that you have contact with, encourage them to go to the diner so we can develop something else here for you, more than just a diner. And patronize it in a way where white folks patronize theirs. I'm saying that so you have a way understanding what to do, not to copy after them. However, you know, you don't have to go home every day and eat what you cooked when you got the diner right there, right next to a project building. It's right in a good location. You know, look at the window where I'm staying at, and right across the street at the chicken place. Well, them cars be in and out, in and out, in and out. It's just constant. Fish, we're offering more than fish and good meals. We're offering civilization. We're offering care, love, responsibility. That's what we're offering you, black man. But you act as though it's not real. You don't really want it. It don't really mean anything. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't do that. And those of you that are offended, if you are offended, what was said about Louis, you know, take a big swallow. You know, let that go away. Because you're not God. You might not be offended with him because he didn't offend you, you think. He's done more than that to you. And he most certainly has offended me. And when you do that, you can't get away. Nobody. Are you listening? Nobody. You know, nobody gets away. I don't care what you think, whether you know me or not, whether you've ever heard me or not, you're not going to get away. So it is to your best interest that you start developing a method or a means to be in harmony with the time and what must be done. Not necessarily what you want to be done, what must be done. You see? So if you come with me, maybe you can quit paying income tax. If you come with me, maybe they'll get off of you about the child support. If you come with me, maybe your wife will love you better. If you come with me, you have an opportunity to be God. If you come with me, you'll be God. If you come with me, you'll start to rule the earth again. If you come with me, it will be said of you, you are the children of light. If you come with me, it will be said of you, the children of God. If you come with me, black man, you'll be God. Salam alaikum.